What is that? It looks like is that a Coke glass?
It's a Coke glass. Yeah, it's
pretty 7-Up
pretty
in there?
cool. No, pretty close. This is lime sparkling water.
And
Gin.
okay.
Yeah, don't worry. There's booze in here. What do you got?
Sparkling water. I have this little number.
Yeah.
I'm a traditionalist.
Yeah. No, I just got to get more bourbon, so I just went to the back of the liquor. It's not even a cabinet. It's just a door in our...
Just a cupboard.
Just a cupboard. Just a cupboard.
Like 3 bottles in it.
Yeah, that's it. So, yeah. So, really bringing in our nice TNRC bonus sort of best of episode here. We're doing a couple best ofs just to highlight what we've done in the last... I mean, jeepers, man. It's been 12 weeks.
It has. So, 12 weeks, 12 episodes, right? So... this is fun. This is good. This is going to be a nice little send-off into the Christmas holiday, I think.
Yes, I agree.
So I like that we're doing this. And the way that it came about was, we decided to do kind of best ofs or, deleted scenes, whatever. And so this show will be dedicated to, I believe, just like our favorite clips, right?
Yes.
And so we decided that I would pick clips and you would pick clips, our favorite clips from the previous 12 episodes, and roll them and talk about them and laugh or gag or whatever we're going to do.
Yeah, but fun. Yeah, absolutely.
But and I thought, like, what am I going to pick? What are some things that we succeeded in doing on this show, thus far through 12 episodes to that end? Because we had some really cool moments, in terms of like you picking up on stuff and I had like I called it a couple episodes like a hallelujah moment, when you told me that you heard the same things that I did, and it was just it was really, really cool. But then also just all the hilariously stupid things that happened too, in between.
Yeah, I had a hard time finding like real clips compared to like just goofy clips, because I was really focused on like, it'd be great to just like laugh and have some fun with this, which we're gonna have, but it was actually pretty difficult for me to be like, no, this is a good clip because I learned something. So I don't even know if I selected any of those, but yeah.
I think I have one or two. I might have one or two. I think I gave you like 27 clips or something like that. Something crazy.
You gave me a lot. So that's the thing is you had to send me clips because I got to edit them. So I know what you picked, right? But you don't know what I've picked. Right?
This is the twist, and I like this. This is the twist. So this can be very interesting for me.
Don't worry, they're all going to be fine. It's all going to be good. It's all going to be fun. It's all going to be something we can just kind of laugh at and talk about post clip. Yeah, no. So
I'm not worried.
Do we want to go through? So I've got them all segmented by episode. We can go by episode and just boom, go through them and give our takes. How do we feel?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get things fired up. So the first one. Brent, you chose, and it's about Sweet Emotion. This is about the hidden messages in Sweet Emotion. So,
episode 1.
Episode 1. This is great, man. These are, and I'm going to give this away like early because like these are what I called Brent Jensen knowledge bombs. Brent's knowledge bombs, where you just kind of like come out with some great stuff. So I'll identify as we go through here some Brent knowledge bombs. So here we go.
Well, what happened was a guy named Frank Connolly used to manage them. And then he sold them to Lieber Krebs. This is a cool story. The reason why I'm telling you this is because you can hear this on the record.
Oh, okay.
So when you listen to, I think it's Sweet Emotion. So their management behind their back sold the contract to Lieber Krebs, a big management company. And Aerosmith was pissed because they had no idea. So they found out when they were recording Sweet Emotion, those that kind of bridge riff that goes da 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 da. So there's backwards hand claps you can hear if you're listening. You can hear something being played backwards. It's backwards hand claps, but it's also the band standing in a circle chanting "Fuck you, Frank." If you listen to the record backwards, you will hear that.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you listen to it forward, you can hear Tyler's voice going. But if you literally spin the record backwards, you can hear them saying "fuck you, Frank."
All right, you gotta let me in on that, because I mean that's gotta. How did you discover that one?
I listened to every record that I ever owned backwards.
You had me for like a half second. I was like,
I couldn't keep a straight face there.
He did. He totally did this.
See, the great thing about doing the podcast is that you hear a lot of stories.
Cool.
About the recording industry and the lore, right? So either somebody, and this goes for everything. Like either somebody told me that, or I read it somewhere.
Cool. So, no, it's great, man. It's a great little tidbit.
I was always fascinated with that because I think it's really cool.
Absolutely. Totally. No, and that's great, man. Those are like pieces throughout the show that you get. And that's what I love when I do my research. I'm like, well, I'm going to come in and I'm going to show Brent what I know. And then you're like, get this. I'm like, what? Yeah.
The funny part about that clip is, I look like the keyboard player from Night Ranger with that microphone kind of coming in from the side.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I do want to bring that up. I want to bring up our production, how it's kind of evolved and
totally
sort of
transformed, right?
Devolved. Like, there's times, I mean, like it can be difficult, like we don't have proper studio setups. You always have a great backdrop, but I like, there are times where it is just an absolute mess or has been. So here's production setup 1. Look at me. I've got the mic in my face. And I've got this big space on the right, and of course I move, but it's just kind of like, what are you doing? And then, you look like a keyboard player at a wedding. It's perfect.
That's true.
And
it's so funny.
But the backdrop has always been great. And then we go to episode 2. I don't know what you're doing with this Yeti mic hanging off to the side here, but that's okay, because I'm still not any better. I've still got cords hanging. I've got the arm coming down. It's up in my face.
So funny,
right? Like what is going on?
And you know what else? Like, keep in mind, this was like COVID. This is COVID hairdo time. Like there was no, you couldn't go to a hair place or like a hair salon or a barber or anything like that.
You could
so
not.
I had like a massive lid, and
had to trim the lettuce there, Brent. That's what you had to do. The lettuce is flying.
The salad was large.
But you know what? We keep pretty consistent with the band shirts. I'm sort of on rotation. You generally probably have like 1 million band shirts. But then we go to episode 3. Now you've done it. You've gotten rid of the mic. You still sound great. And now I still got this giant arm thing. I like my lighting, but still, what are we doing? Not bad.
See, the Yeti was down below. Now I moved it down, so it's like under my hand.
You can kind of see it just a little bit, but but you got better. And then we move into, now we're looking good. We're actually looking better. We're like, can't see yours. Your headroom is like, I don't know what's going on there. That's part of me. I need to make sure you look better. But then, I've got my
you need
mic.
a production assistant.
That's what we do need. Absolutely. So episode 5 is this one. It's pretty good. Episode 6, feel like we've got it figured out. Got it figured out,
So look at the frame on my side. So that I use those circular lights, and for some reason it didn't work that day. I don't know why. I turned it on and it was just dead.
Got it.
Even though it was plugged in. But you can tell, right? Well, because the light is just kind of very dim. Yeah.
Well, your light's always generally pretty good. You got some good overhead lights. I got one giant light here hitting me in the face, and generally that's what I've got. The thing I like about this is that book just over my corner of my shoulder.
Oh, look at that.
That's a pretty good book. And then we go into episode 8. You look great. I completely mess it all up by trying to go Howard Stern on us here. Bringing the mic in, it takes over a shadow all over my body. It's like, what is going on? And by the way, you cannot find a proper freeze frame where we actually look decent. It's always like
two dang dongs. So why? What is with the lighting in your room there?
Well, yeah,
it looks like you're. Like your mom told you to go to bed and you're doing something like super late at night that you shouldn't be doing.
My wife told me to go to bed, but I'm staying. I'm staying up at night doing something I shouldn't.
That's super interchangeable now. Your wife and your mom.
All I'm trying to say here is that we've had a blast, like just trying to figure our setups out, and we're getting there. We're getting it figured. I mean, you're most consistent. I'm changing all the time. I love that I got like Mr. Petty behind me right now, though.
Perfect.
Just a legend. So. Okay, man. So yeah, that was just one thing I wanted to bring up, and you'll see the progression and the setup as we go through these episodes. So I'm gonna bring up one more that you had, because I've got a follow up to this clip that you've chosen, which is about the "You See Me Crying," the story of how Steven Tyler and Joe Perry first heard "You See Me Crying," and then I've got a follow up to that.
And you know the funny story about that record. This is how out of it Steven Tyler and Joe Perry were, okay, with the drugs. So that album came out in 1975, Toys, right? 1984, when they were getting going again with Done with Mirrors, a DJ played on the radio, "You See Me Crying." Tyler heard it and said to Perry, seriously, he said, "Holy fuck, that's a great song. We should cover that." And Perry looked at him and said, "That's you idiot."
Yes.
He had no idea.
Unreal. Where was I? Singing the song. So that's part of yours. And then here's mine. Here's what I added on to this. Don't you need a ballad on a record? Like an album like this? And that's why I'm thinking, like, get rid of Round and Round and go from No More to You See Me Crying, and then you're good. Like that's like their perfect album. That even Liv Tyler, it's her favorite song. So you know, Liv,
that's nice.
What up, Liv? Oh, she was so hot in Armageddon. So hot in Armageddon. Yeah. So,
what up?
Yeah, what up? So I thought I'd tack that on. Again, a couple, like, just some great stories, you know? And
that's great.
Yeah, those are the great things I loved figuring out about a lot of these bands, man. It was cool.
Yeah, cool.
So we move on to episode 2. Got some clips from episode 2. This is about Aerosmith Gets Your Wings, and this is my take. This is a clip I selected about Get Your Wings being better than Toys. When I thought Toys in the Attic was great and started off really, really strong, I should just start by saying I love this album. And because by saying I did my homework and then some, I listened to this album probably about 4 or 5 times over the course of the week.
Oh, leading
up to this, because
Keener.
Oh, but man, it's so good.
I know, it's great, isn't
it? It's incredible. And just go ahead. Sorry,
I just want to jump in. Do you think it's a better record than Toys in the Attic?
I do.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, continue. That's so funny.
The reason I love that is your response, man. Is like, I love getting your responses where you're like, oh wow. I've shocked you. I love it.
That's the beauty in this, though, right?
Yeah.
I love the different viewpoints and your enthusiasm. Like, I loved at the top of that clip, you're like, "Can I just tell you that I love this record?" Like, your hands are like, "Yeah."
I know. And I'm like, I listened to it 5 times over the course of 7 days, which doesn't seem awesome. Yeah, I know. I guess it's like, when I hear it, I'm like, it's not really a lot. I got 2 kids.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite albums that we've listened to, and here's you dropping knowledge on the album with regards to John Kalodner's influence on the records, and this is also me trying to figure out how to say the word contractually. They get in. Is that contractual that they have to write a hit? They got somebody sitting over them looking at them going like, write this or write that. Like, what is stopping them from saying, "Oh, this isn't us"? Like
the record company at that point. So, their career was resuscitated in the 80s. Yeah. John Kalodner, he was kind of, the hit maker. So he would go into the studio and apparently, I can't remember if it was Pump or Permanent Vacation, one of those records. He listened to that whole record. So he would just kind of sit there like this sentinel, right? And say, "Throw it all in the garbage, start over," and then walk out the door. And apparently he did that for one of those records. They played the entire album for him. And, you know, it was like, okay, these are all hits. Like, you know, all the songs, they brought Diane Warren in, like professional songwriter, and they played it for him. And he said, start over, throw it in the garbage, and walked out. That's a true story.
That's it. Throw it in the garbage.
Yeah. Apparently that is a true story. I don't know which record it was. But Kolodner was a taskmaster. Yeah. And he went in there, like I said, and just kind of sat there with arms folded and said, no, that's not a hit. Mm. But he had the ears. Like he was like so highly regarded as a hit maker.
Yeah.
And just like magic ears, they said. You know, he could hear a hit and say, yeah, that's a hit. That's not a hit. And he was right most of the time. And that record, you know, he put those guys through their paces, Aerosmith, and they hated it.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Perry's accountant eventually loved it, and so did he. But at the time, it was tough, man.
Yeah, I loved listening to that story anytime I wasn't looking at your damn Yeti mic in the right corner because it was so big and distracting.
I was trying to figure out the whole thing. Like it was, you know what that was? It was like on the counter, clamped on there, and there's a towel so that it didn't like go into the counter. Like I had this like, oh man,
there's a lot that goes on behind this. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes to make the show happen. Totally. Is what we're trying to say here, folks.
See, now it's right here.
Oh yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah,
no, I love it. All right,
not
now
like right here.
In your face. This is I picked another clip from this episode. I can't remember. I called it Tyler Finds His Voice. Can't remember exactly what it's about, but here we're about to find out. So here we go.
On Get Your Wings, he finds his voice, and it's like this shrill, kind of dirty, you know. And somebody asked me about that, and he said, I realized at that time, it's not about having a beautiful voice that's kind of operatic and note for note. It's about having attitude, and the attitude is the most important thing.
Yeah, and the way that he uses his voice as like just almost another instrument in the band to play along with, you know, to play with the songs, you know, even with like same old song and dance, you know, is the instrument. And then he comes in with the lyrics, like vocally, you know, that kind of thing where he's playing with it, and he's, you know, he works really well with the instrumentation.
You know, it's funny that you say that because you just reminded me of Black Sabbath, and after Ozzy got kicked out of Black Sabbath, Tony Iommi, that was his biggest kind of pet peeve about Ozzy after he left, is that, so he said that I would write these riffs and basically Ozzy wouldn't invent a melody for it. He would just sing along with the notes that I wrote. Da, 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 da. And, you know, and Ronnie James Dio came in after him, and he invented a melody under the riff, and it kind of augmented the song that much more, right? But anyway, Iommi said like he was just lazy. He just sang along with my riff. So,
okay, I guess it could be seen as lazy, or that's right. That's why I picked it, because I thought it was cool. You brought up the fact of Black Sabbath, but it was I still loved the wordplay and the vocal play with the music, whether I only liked it or not.
Well, it happened a lot. I mean, like Iron Man's a great example of that. Has he lost his mind? He just kind of like very lazily. He didn't even write the lyrics. The drummer did.
Oh, wow.
So Ozzy did very little. He was like, you know, the classic underachiever in that band. Everybody else was working, and Ozzy was just kind of like.
See, I love that we can't even get through a best of episode without you dropping a knowledge bomb.
I don't know if that was really a knowledge bomb.
Well, it was for me. I didn't know. All right. Yeah, I don't care about anybody else, Brent. It's all about me. Me. So
you know what I like? The other thing I like about that clip is when you're doing that do-do-do-do-do-do, like the scatting makes you sound like Sammy Davis Jr.
Okay, I'll take it.
It was like Moisha. You said like Moisha for some reason.
Moida. Yeah. He says Moida. He says Moida in the song.
No, it does.
Yeah, he does. Descent and Moida.
It doesn't say Moida.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, take a listen.
This is murder.
He kind of says murder. It's more of a Moida. Doesn't matter. You know what? Tomato. All right. He's from New York. Of course he said Moida.
Moida.
Episode 3. We only got one clip from here. There's a lot good in episode 3, though. This is from Aerosmith Rocks, and this is a clip you picked, and it's a pretty funny clip, and I agree with it. So here we go. I'm not a big Beatles fan, so you're not going to be able to talk to me about the Beatles.
What? The series is over.
I can't believe you like the Beatles.
Fireball. No Beatles.
Hey, man. I'm working on it, okay? I'm working on it, all right? If there's one thing that I can show you, it's that I'm working on it.
You know who else doesn't like the Beatles? Ron McLean does not like the Beatles.
Attaboy, Ronnie. Good clip.
There was one part that you left out there.
Oh, no.
And you said, why does Ron McLean like the Beatles? And I said, why don't you like the Beatles? And you're like, I don't know.
That must have been in the original version. I don't remember seeing that in this version.
It's right after that.
Oh, is it? Really?
Yeah. You conveniently left it out.
Well, you didn't tell me where to stop. Okay, we're in episode 4 here with Van Halen. You didn't pick a clip from this episode. I did because I love the way your eyes light up when we talk about Van Halen. You were like a little kid on Christmas Day talking about Van Halen every time. This is like the one clip that I have of it, but if you go back and watch our episodes on Van Halen, Brent, you were always so excited to talk about Eddie and like everything about it. I fucking love it. I love it. So this is one of those moments where it's just great. So here we go.
Well, that was just kind of, it was just a great example of, going off the song sheet, you could say, I guess, right? For it, just like, who would think to do that? Like drag your pick before you're about to hit your big chord on your first record, your first, right? He just kind of went blink. Yeah. And, I wonder if when he did that, if people were like, what the hell is he doing? But it totally works. People must have been like, what the fuck was that? Why did he do that?
Did we get that?
That kind of set the stage for what Van Halen would be.
Yeah.
Really.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. And I love that because he does like Atomic Punk. He uses his palm.
Okay.
That's his palm on the strings.
Wow.
Right.
So excited. So excited
there. Wow. It's very animated.
He's got so excited. There's a few other instances. I didn't go through and select them. I should have, but they're just like, when we start talking about that stuff, you were like so gung-ho, and I love it because I think that played a big role in my appreciation of the band when you can bring some of that information forward. Obviously, I listened to it before you tell me about it, but man, afterwards, I love telling the stories you tell me about with Van Halen.
Oh, really? Well, good. Yeah. But it is exciting stuff. And before we started rolling here, I showed you this. I found this. Van Halen, Women and Children First. This is the cassette that I listened to in 1980 when I was 11 years old.
So great.
And that's where that enthusiasm comes from. So for those of you who are, of the millennial variety, this is a cassette. And
you know what? It's actually they're coming back. So actually, we should all know. Yeah, there are artists that are purposely putting out. They're purposely putting out cassettes. They're doing it on purpose.
Is that like an irony thing? Like it's ironic, like when Jessica Simpson wore an Iron Maiden T-shirt.
I don't get the irony in that, but I guess.
Well, she's clearly not an Iron Maiden fan.
Well,
right?
Yeah, but
she would go to these events and wear an Iron Maiden T-shirt and be like, "I love Iron Maiden."
Yeah, but probably didn't. Yeah. Okay. No, it's a good point. So we're on episode 5, and I've got a clip and you've got a clip. A couple funny clips here. So sometimes what we do is, ever since we talked about sequencing, that term has come up, I think, almost every episode. But specifically with Van Halen 2's episode, you and I really play record executive on this episode, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. Okay, here we go. I don't think it's a bad song, but I just felt like as an opener, I was like, kind of where's the Van Halen?
So you remember we were talking about
track selection sequencing last time around, right? That's a great example of like You're No Good should not have been the opener for this record. I don't
Agreed.
Because it is a curious choice. It's very weird. I would have probably put that like maybe, fourth.
Someone Get Me a Doctor.
Yep.
Fantastic. That should have led the album. That is a top choice. That is a wicked tune.
Good point. Yeah, that could open the record.
Yeah,
for sure. Actually, that would probably be my pick.
Yeah,
that one or Bottoms Up. It probably wouldn't open with that.
That's a good third. That's a good third song. I think it's fourth. So I think it's a good song to come in third with. Dance the Night Away, I think, is a perfect 2 song. That's just a great pop rock.
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah.
Song.
I'd put that in the number 3 slot for sure.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Single.
Okay.
That's the single. Yeah.
See?
Wow.
You know what I mean? We really went in on putting this album together.
We sound like we know what we're talking about there.
Yeah.
We're 2 John Kolodners.
Oh, of course. Well, that's what I love. Is it's like look at these armchair executives, record executives. Yeah, I would have put, and then I would have put, and I would have put. It's like, what do we got here? Like a Whitesnake slide it in kind of a thing, where it's just got 5 different iterations of the album. So
yeah,
I thought that was hilarious. Just the way that you and I really felt like, well, actually, it probably should have been like this. I thought,
hey man, why not?
Yeah,
why
absolutely. Not? So your pick from this episode was about TikTok, which,
oh god,
man, brilliant. Here we go. Are you on TikTok, Brent? Do you TikTok?
I'm way too old for TikTok, my friend. Are you on TikTok?
I've an account. I thought I would get into it.
Pass up. You're on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok.
I have an account.
Any chance?
Oh, so funny. I have an account. I'm really on TikTok, though.
Well, I'm not really on it, but
you're totally on TikTok. You still are on TikTok.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, it looks like I've got another. So we're now at episode 6. This is Van Halen, Women and Children First. This is a pick from myself, and this is again How Much You Love Van Halen. Stand by. Here it comes.
This record is the nexus of David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen together, and you hear that in Could This Be Magic, for example. There's so many magic moments on this record for me. Like they seem innocuous, but like little things that just kind of make you smile. Like right before the solo in Could This Be Magic. So Dave is playing acoustic guitar, by the way. He's playing the rhythm guitar, and then you hear Eddie kind of, is playing like licks, right? Over top.
Okay. Again, another one because I know Roth played Ice Cream Man, and now when we come to this one, I wasn't sure because it seems very technical. Could This Be Magic when they're ripping on it? So I just wasn't sure how involved, if he was playing at all during that song.
It is him, yeah.
Wow.
And so before the solo, Dave goes. It sounds like he says Edwin. He says Edward. And then the solo starts and he says, thank you. It's such a Roth thing.
So
right?
Cool.
It's the coolest.
Yeah.
And I just, when I heard that when I was a kid, I'm like, these guys are having fun. Like, this is fantastic.
Yeah. Even in
this.
Like I'm on board with you, I'm on board with you. It's just, but like when it's so true, when you hear those moments, you're like, yes.
I'm 13 again when I hear that.
Yeah.
Honestly. That was, I said in one of those episodes, that was the first time that rock and roll felt dangerous. I recognized a dangerous, non-conventional element at that time through Van Halen's music.
Yeah.
And it was a damn exciting time for me.
Yeah. Well, here's another great example of them having fun and them really just kind of showing what kind of fun they had on this album. Here we go. This is your pick.
That's the cool part, is when they start talking into these like CB radio things, right? And they're like, breaker, which is so, and again, for a kid, I'm like, what are these guys doing? Mayday. You hear like,
that's what I'm doing with my friends. What are they doing? They're grown men.
Exactly.
So these are a lot of fun.
That's funny. What you said there at the end is like so prescient, right? That's what I'm doing with my friends. Like, what are these grown men doing that for? I'm like 12.
Yeah.
Saying Mayday, Mayday, fucking around in a toy.
Yeah.
And Roth was going around the studio doing that himself. It's so funny.
It's a great clip, and again, I love it because it shows your love for the band and what kind of an impact it had on you, man, when you were listening to it. It's great. There it is. All right, last clip from episode 6.
As I said, I'm thrilled that you got this much out of it, and these records, as I was saying at the top of the show, that they have sentimental value to me, right? So it's a thrill to see that you're actually getting something worthwhile out of this. So really cool for me. Thanks.
You know what I was thinking about when you mentioned the sentimental value of this album? My sentimental value albums were Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and Hanson. I think.
Just cut the show. Stop talking.
We'll catch you next Thursday. Thanks, bud. You were a little late on it.
I had no choice.
Yeah, no, you were a little late because I already spilled the goods, but yeah.
I was hoping you'd edit that out. just to save yourself some dignity there.
Not a chance. Okay, here. So we're about halfway through. We've got 12 episodes. We've gone through six of our favorite 6 episodes with some favorite clips here. I want to bring something else in. Just a little something fun that I put together. It's not very long. It's about 25 seconds long, and I like to sing, right? I like to sing on this show. I like to, it's not great, but I do anyways because for some reason I feel a need to get my point across. So, here I'm gonna show you. But hey, there might be a little surprise at the end.
I've been a gambler for 1,000 years. I'm a man on the mountain. I'm gonna make you mine, baby.
We're right out of your
right to the top, baby.
Ain't no stranger. You know that part? And it's fucking perfect. Like, it's perfect for the end of that song. Oh, that is so good. I love that.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Brent, hold on, Brent. We gotta watch that one more time. Let's watch that one more time. Okay, here we go.
That was so good. Watch my face when you do
your faces are great.
Watch.
I've been a gambler for 1,000 years. I'm a man on the mountain. I'm gonna make you mine, baby. Right.
We're right out of your
right to the top, baby.
Ain't no stranger. You know that part? And it's fucking perfect. Like, it's perfect for the end of that song.
Man, your faces are so good. I love your face. Your face here is pretty good.
So confused. I'm like, confused. What are you doing?
But you're in it with me. This one, I love this one. You're like,
yeah.
Episode 2, it was kind of new to you, so you were kind of like,
just a little bit scared. I was very apprehensive there.
All right, okay, good, great. So anyways, bring it up a little bit with some singing clips of that.
That was awesome.
We'll be right back. I gotta fill my drink up. 1 second. All right, episode 7. This is our multi-Van Halen episode. Multi-album episode of Van Halen. So here we go, episode 7. This is one of your favorite moments, Brent. This is a clip that you chose, one of your favorite moments of all time, I think, on this show. So here we go.
Put your glass up. Look at your eyes. I know. So I can tell that you drank the whole glass. Look at your face right now.
It's just the camera, man.
Yeah, it's the camera.
It's the camera.
It's always the camera.
How do I...
Oh, you just knocked one of your teeth out, for Christ's sakes.
Jesus.
I did. I heard that.
Okay, Brent.
Good Lord.
Time for me to go to bed.
Oh, man. What happened to you after that was over? Like, you were bombed.
I was okay.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. I was fine. It was like, it was like nothing. All right, next clip on episode 7, Roth as Tyler. This is a little knowledge I maybe dropped on you, Brent, from their album Fair Warning, my least favorite album maybe of all time. Okay, here we go. Here comes we had mentioned at one point that Van Halen was not influenced at all by Aerosmith. I heard a little Aerosmith influence
in
Dirty Movies.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah. Like I got a real Steven Tyler. What's the
that
word?
Actually sounded like Aerosmith the way that you
right?
said it.
Yeah. In the back of the limo. Like the way that Roth goes through some of the verses in Dirty Movies. Take a listen again.
Yeah, I know it in my head. I get that.
Yeah. I listened to it. I was like, that could have been Last Child. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? That's a very astute observation on your part.
Oh, thank you.
That didn't occur to me before.
Yeah, that was one part that I was like, man, like this is. I know we said that there was no real Aerosmith, and I don't think there is anywhere else. But just in those verses of Dirty Movies, that's what I got.
You could be right about that.
Yeah.
Wow, that did not occur to me at any point. Look at you. Wow. See, credibility not lost at all.
That's really funny.
It's a fun clip.
I'm like astonished. My eyes are darting. I'm like, wow, what just happened?
I gotta go Wikipedia this.
One of the signs of the apocalypse.
Yeah. Well, and not to say that I was right, but it was like, hey, I brought something that maybe Brent hadn't thought about. So that was pretty cool.
No, it was a great point. And really, when you said that, I was like, it was funny because when you look at both our faces, you're proud, and I'm like, what? He's right. I think he's right. He is right. Oh my God.
Wow. Hey, this could be a thing.
But see, that's what I was talking about at the top of the show. Like, these are things, you think about the successes, right? And it's cool when things like that happen because you recognize that, not having not known a lot about these two bands really before we started, you picked up on that. And that's something that I completely missed. So, and I've been listening to these guys since I was 10.
Episode 8 is with Sticky Fingers, and there's some good stuff in that episode. It's coming up in another segment. It's going to come up in our next episode. Okay. We picked some clips from episode 8, but it's from the intros and from skips. So we have a couple of segments. One's called intros, one's called skips, and we're actually going to bring that up in our part 2 of our best of. So come back for some episode 8 clips where we talk about Sticky Fingers. Episode 9 is Exile on Main Street, and this is Exile on Main Street part 1. So this is a clip that you picked, Brent, and this is about Blood and Swing on the album.
You listen to Goat's Head Soup, the album that came out the year after, and it's so, for me, just homogenized.
Yeah.
It just sounds like there's no blood in it. It just,
no,
you can hear the blood in Exile.
Yeah.
On Main Street in songs like Ventilator Blues.
Yeah, the blood is transferring from the vein to the syringe back into the vein in this album. That's what that feels like.
Oh, there's swing, there's so much swing and rawness in this record.
It's a good little clip. There is. And I ruined it. But...
Well, you did. It's a very valid point in my mind, just because they had that run of really great records, and then all of a sudden Goat's Head Soup came out and it was over. But the point that I made, I think, in that episode is that Jagger kind of was bored with rock and roll, and he really kind of was able to step out in front of Keith Richards because he was incapacitated by drugs at the time. And you saw the things that you did after that.
Yeah.
Black and Blue, It's Only Rock and Roll, Goat's Head Soup, just, reggae, disco, with Some Girls after that, and Miss You and everything. So everything changed for the Rolling Stones at that time. And it was largely because there was a bit of a changing of the guard. Richards took a step back. Jagger stepped in front of him.
Yeah. In order to get work done, probably, though, right? I mean, like,
it was necessary.
Yeah.
It was necessary. Yeah.
But, I haven't gone through those other albums, but I feel like a lot of those other albums more so have one-off hits than they do have full album. You know, like you're not really listening for the full album. Where Sticky Fingers, you want to listen to all the way through. Let It Bleed, you want to listen to all the way through. Exile, as long as it is, you want to listen to all the way through. You know, again, Goat's Head Soup, Black and Blue, Some Girls. There's some good tracks on there, but it's not like you're listening to it for the full album.
Right. See, I'm so glad that you pick up on that too. Again, because that's an excellent point. Those are great listenable albums. They have a vibe, a collective vibe. Exile has a collective vibe.
Yeah.
Goat's Head Soup, in my opinion, does not.
Right.
It just feels like it was kind of cobbled together.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other records that followed that feel the same way to me. But the 4 albums that were on that run, starting with Beggar's Banquet and ending with Exile, have album feels about them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So my clip from episode 9, I picked one, and this is just about sort of the way that we're moving with the show. So we've started off, you know, the whole idea with the show that you and I would talk about these things, and I'm the one that edits them, and I kind of put the whole creative look together for it, and it kind of gets me excited to find new ways to get creative with the graphics and get creative with layouts and things like that. So this one is sort of the moment where it was kind of like, hey, let's really add something different. So this is adding a piece to the show where we've never really had an opportunity to kind of enhance it this way.
Can we also take this moment to say that you do an incredible job of that?
We can always take a moment to say that. Absolutely.
But you really do. You know, you're the you don't get enough credit for how the show looks. You know,
thanks,
and how the
man.
show is presented. Like, you do a fantastic job in like, you know, all the way across the board in terms of editing, presentation, all of it. So
I appreciate that.
Well done.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Well, you know, it's a work in progress to me all the time. I love our initial look. We kind of have our standard sort of layout, and I don't think that it ain't broke. I don't want to fix it, and you know, it's been a lot of fun to build on. And here's one of those moments where we build on it with a really cool, what I think is a really cool element.
A lot of stuff was going on for the Stones at this time, so they were tax exiles, hence the name. Exile on Main Street, and they literally had spent all their money that they had allocated towards taxes, and they were at the point where they were going to get their assets, you know, procured by the government, and so they fled to France. So Jagger, I think, went to Paris with Bianca Jagger, who he was with at that time. Richards went to Nelcote with Anita Pallenberg, his girlfriend, and bought a place there, and that was like his kind of exile hangout. And then the other guys, I'm not sure where they went. I'm not sure where Wyman went, or Watts went, or Wyman went. But
Watts, I think, was I think he said he was about 7 hours away from where Richards was. So they were all in France.
Yeah, but they spread out.
Yeah.
So they all agreed that they would record the next record in Richards' basement at his Nelcote mansion or retreat or whatever it was, with the mobile unit that they had. And so that's kind of, you know, the first thing that makes this album cool is because it was just so loose and unstructured, right? And you can hear that in the songs.
You know what would have been cool is that little dot that was going up and back to represent Mick Jagger.
Was Mick's face?
Was like, well, even better, the Rolling Stones logo with the lips and the tongue.
The lips and the tongue.
That would have been kind of fun.
I'll try and do better, Brent. I'll try and do better next time.
Can you please?
I agree, man. And it's those little things, and honestly, like, that stuff wouldn't be possible if you didn't give me the information for that kind of stuff. So the way some of this works is, well, the way it works, not some of it, the way it works is I edit the video, I send it to you, and you come up with cool factoids, and those are the factoids you see. That's Brent going through and doing research like a madman for those specific points and times, and it gives me an opportunity to kind of have some fun with it, like I did with that map animation. And man, like, I'm just glad that you're into that type of stuff that we get to do. And you know, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to edit. It's a lot of fun to record. I hope you have fun looking for factoids. I know it's probably a pretty like, you know, it's probably pretty tedious, but man, like we wouldn't have those kinds of that kind of info if it wasn't for you going through and diving through the, you know, information to add to the episodes. It's great.
Well, you know what? I'm happy to do that little bit, you know, based on what I said before about all the editing and production work that you do. But also, I'm proud of the show. I think that we do a decent job with this, and it's something that I look forward to every week. So I'm going to give it my all, and it's a lot of fun. And I think that stuff like that, you know, the more work you put into it, the better it is, and hopefully, you know, the viewers feel the same way.
100%, man. And if you don't feel the same way, viewers, we don't care because we love it. So we're going to keep doing it. Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely. All right. Episode 10. Roll them. we got quite a few. Episode 10, which is Exile Part 2. We had some fun with this one. So I want to lead it off with a real cool information piece that you gave us on Neil Peart and Charlie Watts. So here we go. Here's that story.
I read this funny article about Neil Peart, and the first time he met Charlie Watts was at the SARS concert in Toronto, right? And so literally it was like a minute and a half. They were on their way to the stage, Rush was, and Watts just happened to be there. And so it's told from the perspective of Neil Peart. So he's walking, and Neil Peart's not like a super social guy, right? Like he's very businesslike, and he's like, you know, he's focused, and he's not, you know, shaking people's hands. He's there to play. And so he's walking, and this little short older man comes up to him and says, hello. And he looks at him and he says, hello. And he's kind of like, he's focused on like trying to get to the stage, right? And he's like, who the fuck is this guy? And the guy says, hi, I'm Charlie Watts. And he looks at me, he's like, oh my God, it is Charlie Watts.
That's wild.
Now, like on top of the fact that I'm on my way to play in front of the SARS crowd, now Charlie Watts is here. And then Charlie says to him, he goes, hey, I like the way that you play. I'm going to watch you today. And then Peart's like, holy shit. On top of this now, I have like one of the Rolling Stones fucking watching me.
Analyzing my play.
Right. And he's just like, I was just, you know, so funny.
Man, I love that story.
Here is another one that you picked. I would have picked this one too. Actually, you picked all of the ones from this episode, but I would have picked a couple of these as well. So here's one where I'm a little insensitive to Brian Jones' death, but it's, you know, it's apparently it's how I cope. So here we go. At least he was part of the 27 Club, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Right. So
what is that? Like some kind of Pyrrhic victory? At least he was part of the 27 Club. What does that mean?
I'm just saying. Yeah. At least he was. It's how I cope. It's how I cope.
You should drink more of that. You should drink more of that water that you've got there.
Yeah, I had a couple sips. At least one.
You know what I love? I love your quick-wittedness. Some people might not know that of you because you've got you're Brent Jensen. You kind of have this, you know, stoic presence about you, and you've got you lay down some of these great things. What is that? Some kind of Pyrrhic victory? Like I love. You came out of nowhere with that, and it just caught me. I loved it.
It's a very bizarre comment.
It's a pretty bizarre comment, that's for sure. You got another great one here that makes me look like an absolute doofus, and I don't think it's going to take any tee up or explanation. So here it comes.
There's one line in that song that I love, and it just, for me, it's completely representative of Keith Richards. And the line goes, "Never want to be like Papa, working for the boss every night and day." And that just, in my mind, that tells you everything you need to know about Keith Richards.
You know what I thought he said? Never want to be like Hoffa. Like I thought it was a Jimmy Hoffa line. That's hilarious. Well, because he was the.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm serious. I thought he said Hoffa because the Hoffa was what? He was a union guy. That's why. Yeah, that's all it was. He said I wanted to be like Hoffa. I was like, fuck, that's clever. Now I look like it because you're laughing at me.
Oh my god. Okay.
What?
Oh my god.
Why is that so ridiculous?
I don't even know what to say.
What do you mean? What's so ridiculous about that? Why wouldn't Hoffa be
clever reference of
why would he say that?
Man.
Why would Keith Richards reference Jimmy Hoffa in a Rolling Stones song? Then want to be like Hoffa working in the union.
Working for the man every night and day. That's why. Because that's what he was doing. That's what the Hoffa was working for the man. He was a union guy. Whatever.
Oh, so much to learn. So young. So naive.
I heard one different name. That's all it was. God damn it, Brent.
Drink the rest of that glass.
This is supposed to be a safe space.
You know what I can't believe is that line is one that you brought up. Of all the lines in the song, you brought up that line, and that was my reaction to it. You said That's right. happened to bring up "Never Want to Be Like Papa." I happen to have an audible, whatever you want to call it, hiccup that sounds like Hoffa, and now I'm just like it go down in infamy as just like a complete.
Like, why would Keith Richards be singing about Jimmy Hoffa in a Rolling Stones song? Jimmy Hoffa, of all people.
So that's episode 10, and of all people, I don't know. They sang about Angela Davis. Why wouldn't they sing about Hoffa?
Sometimes I worry about you.
So before we get into the final two, I want to play something else that I came across. You and I, I've done some singing. You kind of contribute to some singing here and there.
Yeah.
But you know what we both definitely contribute to?
What?
Noises.
That's so awesome. I love that.
Let me play that one more time. This is obviously this is about these are different times where we're playing instruments from different songs. Yeah. So here we go. Here it is again.
That's so awesome. I love that.
I'm sure there are more, but oh my god, those are the ones that I've had.
There were more. As I was watching that, I was thinking about the other ones. That is so funny, though.
Yeah, it just works, man. It's just like, oh, you got some, I got some. Each time we try, for some reason we try.
When you said noises, I was like, what is he going to play here?
Yeah.
Like, what noises?
There you go. Those are
a little bit worried.
Those are our noises. Yeah. All right. I just wanted to play it as a bit of a breakup between the last two episodes. So, episode 11. This is from Deep Purple's "Burn," and this is a clip that I chose, and this is about you being heavy into Deep Purple at a certain age.
I wasn't, I was 5 when this came out, so I wasn't their target audience either.
You were heavy into Deep Purple at the age of 5.
Oh, totally. But
it's a quick clip, but it's that dry sense of humor that you have. I absolutely love. You got great timing, and you're just like, oh yeah, just like it's so good.
I didn't even realize I did that.
Yeah, I know,
I was like so bent on trying to tell my story. I'm like, yeah.
I threw you off so many times in that episode. Totally.
Oh, when was that? There were a lot of times when I was trying to think of what I was about to say. I was trying to make a point. And then that rainbow thing. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Rainbow. And like, fuck. And then I forgot what I was going to say.
You're welcome. Well, here's another great clip that you chose. This is your selection from the episode. So here, this is a great clip.
The Crows used to do that when they played. So interesting. The Crows would play songs that were 305.
Counting Crows?
No. The Black Crows. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just wanted to make sure I picked the right Crows.
The black ones.
Okay. Haven't listened to them.
Oh, yeah. You've never heard of the Black Crows? So
haven't heard of them. Sorry. Go on.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You've never listened to the Black Crows?
I mean, maybe I've heard a song if it came on, but I couldn't be like, this is a Black Crows tune and tell you what it is.
Wow. see, mistake on my part. I just assumed that you were fully versed in Black Crowes.
You know what happens when you assume, Brent?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's an old one. Okay, go on.
So maybe, we're going to have to pull that record out and you're going to have to listen to it.
Hit me with the crows, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. Wow.
I'll hit you with the counting crows.
This is like, I feel like you're like a little toy that I can like make into different shapes. Can you do this? Can you do this and this? Can you do this and this and this?
Of course,
yes,
man. I can do it all. I can do it all. You just find me in the attic. That's all.
Yeah. Little Aerosmith reference at the end there.
That was it. That's what I was trying to go for. Man, that's so funny. I don't even know if you made
a lot of fun.
I don't even know if you made your point after that.
I don't think I did. I probably forgot. I forgot what it was.
Just another one. Those times where it's like, I threw you off the game. Threw you off. Oh my goodness. Okay, episode 12. This is the episode that just passed, and we kind of saw a little hint of it in the little singing clips that I played for you. But here we go. Here's one of your clips from the Whitesnake episode.
It's a cool message, It's like, I've been a gambler for 1,000 years,
a victim of circumstance.
Yeah.
And he sings. The cool thing too is that if you sing along with it, he sings in 2 registers, right? He sings it because he's got a very like deep voice.
I love Coverdale's voice. I love it.
So do I. Again, separate the artist from the art. Like I love his voice. Always have. Yeah. He's not a shrieker. He's not an Axl Rose. He doesn't go up to the falsettos, but he just got like this amazing,
It is a fantastic voice and perfect for this music. It was good for Deep Purple, but Coverdale was made for Whitesnake. Like that's what he was made for.
Well, Whitesnake was made for Coverdale.
Look at you. Perfect.
So good, man.
We have threw a softball up to me there.
I did. We have too much fun. We have too much fun when we record these. We really do. All right, and here's my clip from the episode, and this is me talking about imagining what it would have been like back in the day, getting ready, listening to Whitesnake.
Oh God.
Everything about these songs on these albums, like I could just picture Brent with long hair and maybe like a bandana and a jean jacket or a leather jacket. No bandana. Okay. A leather jacket maybe. And like, just getting amped up.
And a Whitesnake pin.
Yeah. Right. And any dude during that time is listening to Whitesnake. Like this is my anthem. Like these are my songs.
Like religiously. So absolutely. It's so funny because I was that guy. It was funny. I didn't wear bandanas.
Okay.
But I wore a leather jacket.
Yeah.
I had very long hair.
Yeah.
And I had like all the pins, like a rat pin and a flying V pin. And I was like so fucking proud of myself.
Gotta be, man. That's so cool. I just like when you put that album on, that's all I could picture was like 80s.
Oh,
like
that was me.
Get the Firebird, get the whatever your parents' station wagon, and just get ready to frickin' go party.
Yeah, I wanted to be David Coverdale.
I bet you did.
Tight black Levi jeans, so bad.
Yeah. It looked like he wore a lot of makeup, but who didn't want to be Coverdale? I guess back in the day. Yeah, man. So I mean that those are our episodes. Those are some of our favorite moments from the episodes, and like it's like a very small sample size of some of the great stuff that you find in this show.
Yeah, like I said, this is enjoyable. It's loose. The flow is good. Like I love talking about these records, and we have so many more to talk about.
Totally,
so many more.
Oh yeah.
David Bowie will pop up.
Cool.
Janis Joplin will pop up. Maybe the Doors will pop up. Iron Maiden might pop up.
I'm open, man. I gotta listen to any and all these tunes I've heard, but not in a context or in a way of, that's really sit down, listen, and take in what it is that they put together. So I love it. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Me too.
All right.
Me too. Cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers to you. I got one more thing to leave us with. Work. Next week. Next week we've got part 2 of our best of series, but we're going to focus on a couple things. We're going to focus on some of our favorite intros, and we're also going to focus on a segment we call skips. And
skips.
We're even going to have a few deleted scenes, some things that haven't made it into the episode. So I want to finish off this episode with a deleted scene. That I love this deleted scene.
I mean, for you to listen to this as a 31-year-old, fuck, can you hear the dog barking?
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
We should probably edit that out.
It's all right. What's his name? Harper? Bowser? Fleeter?
Right. Fleeter. It's Fleeter.
Tweeter, the monkey man?
We called him Fleeter. Come here, Fleeter. So,
yeah.
It's such an obvious choice for a dog name, right? Fleeter.
Especially a Doberman.
Yeah, absolutely. How could you not call it Fleeter?
Okay. Yeah.
Right, so now
you were 5 listening to Deep Purple.
Fleeter. I knew you were going to play this clip.
It was so good, man. I don't know where it came from, but I was like, it's got to be Fleeter. So Fleeter. Some more deleted scenes, some more bonus clips like that to come. Well, this was fun. This was a blast. This was a best of.
It really was.
This was fun.
And we're working our way into the Christmas season now.
Yes. So absolutely, yeah. So we're going to take a couple weeks off following next week's episode. Yeah. But we'll be back at the beginning of 2022
with a surprise.
It's
a long run on a great band.
If you've been watching, you might guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Well, hey,
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. We'll see you next week for the Christmas holidays.
You bet.
All right.
Cheers, my brother.
Cheers, my friend.